Today I will be talking about the Hollywood&Vine sign, designed by Michael DeRay. This is a fascinating specimen of design that allows us to examine many aspects and subtopics of neon signage. This video essay will cover some history of neon signs, the location where the sign lives, its design elements, and the use of neon by some of today's contemporary artists making work that speaks on current topics. The Hollywood&Vine sign is a fusion of nostalgic Hollywood glamour with modern design elements. It's a 3D piece that uses typography and gives an evoking feeling of prestige, while at the same time bridging the past with the present that stands out in the night of the Hollywood landscape. Since their invention by French engineer George Claude, neon signs have played an important role in advertisement. Americans were first introduced to them at a car dealership as a business signage. Soon after, they appeared in New York's Times Square. During their peak, they became a big part of city identities in places like the Las Vegas Strip and Tokyo, Japan. Along the Hollywood Boulevard corridor, they represent cinematic glamour, the fame, and nightlife, the intersection of Hollywood&Vine offers. They are used by establishments like the Pantages Theater, Frolic Room, and Hollywood&Vine Lofts, all connected to the allure of Hollywood. Around the year 2000, the plans to open a restaurant on the famous intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street emerged. Rob Dyer, a designer and friend of Michael DeRay, was working with the owners of the establishment. He reached out to Michael DeRay with the opportunity to design the restaurant's identity. The location is surrounded by some of Hollywood's most iconic landmarks, down the street from the Capitol Records building and along the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Michael DeRay is originally from Brooklyn, New York, and drew inspiration from the signage and rides of Coney Island and Times Square from his youth. He later in life moved here to Los Angeles, California, where he then drew inspiration from the local landscape and the signage from around here. He noticed all the unique quirks sign painters and makers were doing on their work to separate it from other sign makers' work. These were quirks that would be considered wrong by a classical trained typographer. While not exactly copying existing designs, DeRay does acknowledge drawing inspiration for the Hollywood&Vine sign logo. He adopted some elements from the Beverly Hills sign, such as incorporating the flat bottom S into the E on Vine, and the uneven vertical stems in the H, and also the similar letter form. Michael DeRay was not consulted for the neon sign, but they did use the logo design. They also added the Capitol Records building from the original sketches. They added the word lofts and the clock he feels is illegible.
Moved from Brooklyn to LA in 1962, and I followed them out there 30 years later. And I found that Los Angeles has its own unique look and feel. This is a famous Beverly Hills hotel sign. Moving out there, I was faced with a whole host of new influences. But I always like to pick up on the quirky details, things that a classically trained typographer would consider wrong. A couple of examples would be here, like the unequal lengths of those verticals in the H, and the flattened bottom of the S. These are things that I know that I would have never thought of myself, but I usually like to pick up on those things. Obviously, they came out of some typographic tradition that I wasn't aware of, or they were a quirk of the particular sign maker who made that sign. But you can see some of that influence here. I was asked to design signage for a Hollywood&Vine restaurant, and I may have had that Beverly Hills hotel sign somewhere in the back of my mind.
Despite the business closing, the sign continues to live there and has become an important piece of identity from the intersection. The placement of where it lives as a modern design allows both locals and tourists to engage with this piece of commercial art in its environment. The sign embodies a aspirational lifestyle drawing from the legendary Beverly Hills sign. The neon lights and glow give a sense of fame and adventure that we can immerse ourselves in. Some of today's contemporary artists are using neon lights and signage as a way of creative expression. Kelly Gravel, also known as Risk, is an artist that works with many mediums that has been using neon lights for many years. I quote from him, "I love neon because you can use it to evoke emotion. It's also synonymous with Los Angeles." Another artist, one of my favorites, is Patrick Martinez, a Los Angeles native who also draws inspiration from the city. He uses his neon signs as a form of expression that make a statement on current social political topics. The Hollywood&Vine sign is a true piece of neon artistry. It's more than just advertisement of a business. It's become a piece that identifies with the intersection through commercial design and artistic expression. It's a bridge between old Hollywood and a new modern one. Through Michael Doray's design choice of elements for the identity, this sign still stands out on the busy corner even if the restaurant is no longer there. We see how it stood the times and become a landmark. Artists like Patrick Martinez and Risk show us that neon continues to evolve as a medium for artistic or political expression. The Hollywood&Vine sign does not live on its own. It's amongst other specimens on the boulevard that illuminate the landscape and enhances the viewer's imagination. The sign reminds us of what can be visually communicated through good design.